Anyway, so welcome to the general meeting for the October month. This meeting is dedicated just for the report and summary of the medical mission. And we try to go through the information so at least you know what went on during the medical mission, how much did you spend. This is still an estimate, tentative, probably by the end of the year when we finalize all the expenses and pay we were supposed to. Then we know for sure which debt, if we have any left, or if we cover our expenses, and then so it will help us planning for the next time. So just to start with, I think every single one of you who volunteer yourself, your time, your expertise to go to the medical mission and make this medical mission the most successful out of all our other medical missions. First of all, in numbers, first of all, in donations, first of all, with all the time spent training these people in Tanzania and including the children. So I sincerely thank every one of you. And then above all, I thank all the donors who really exceeded my expectation this medical mission. You will see a few slides. I'm like, when I was adding all these things up, I'm like, okay, do I really have these numbers or I'm making it up? I had to like do it 3 times and I'm like, okay, let me make sure I'm adding them right, because it looks like there's too many zeros. But thank you, all the donors. And you see some of them even give us $10 and some of them give us like almost up to $2,500. I don't even know what to say. And I keep sending and saying a prayer for every single one of you who donated and if, believe on our medical mission and try to support us so we go and help the people in Tanzania. So thank you very much. There's a lot of information. I won't be able to cover all of this today, but I'm just going to take just a little synopsis of each areas, and then more of each area you will see on the video that we are releasing now, like specific topics, so at least it's not overwhelming. So just keep up on checking back on our YouTube. So when we post a new video, you can go back and see previous videos for different areas. And then probably at the end, we're going to post all the link in one email, so then people will be able to, if you have Sunday or Saturday or whatever the day you have a break, then you can binge watch all the stuff. So, but again, thank you very much, and may God continue blessing you every single day. So to just say hi for people who are here, on my left, I have Miss Valentine, so I'm going to let her speak a little bit in a few minutes. On my right, I have Miss Bree, thank you very much. And on the bottom right to me, I have Dr. Dorothy, thank you for coming. On the middle part, Mr. Poranka, thank you for coming. And on the left side, Mrs. Christine Behoniak, thank you. And Somebody's in Infinity, thank you for coming. So let me just start a little, my little sharing, and then share as much as I can, and then we can have that conversation afterwards. We start. So as I said, this is just a summary for the medical mission. I know for people who don't know our organization, so our mission is to create a patient environment that facilitates improvement in knowledge of an individual's health practices and behavior that ensure patient safety. So that's where the healthcare part comes in. Of course, our vision is to provide targeted education, which was the main reason of this medical mission, to empower nursing and medical staff with ongoing competent skills when providing daily patient care and community outreach. So the community outreach part is the school that we have a bigger number of our volunteers go on that side. Just your background, so Qhsc started in 2019, but before that we did an initial medical mission. So we did in Dodoma almost 4 times, and then so this was the first time to go to Dar es Salaam. So this is just for history of people who have no idea what's the Qhsc. And then so the area that we did last year was Dodoma, that was in the middle of the country. And then this year we did on Dar es Salaam, which is on the coast. For people who went there, they can attest for that. And then so the agenda for today is just giving you an update, and then lesson learned where Ms. Valentine is going to go over it shortly. And then we're going to review training to see how many things did we do, how many people did we teach, and how many hours did we spend doing those education. And then, of course, we're going to review the in-kind donation, how much do we collect, either online or Qhsc and Facebook and GoFundMe, I mean, all those Venmo, all those venues that helps us collect and provide resources for our medical mission. And then, of course, things that we did before we went there, which helps us to facilitate this medical mission. We're going to discuss that part. And then after all those excitement and stuff, so we need to figure out future activities, things that we need to do. How many people do we need to reach in the future to try and grow our organization, and encouraging people to join us to be able to participate in the future medical mission. So going back to the updates, we did have 30 volunteers, global volunteers from the United States, and then 17 from Tanzania. But then some of the volunteers, 2 of them left within 3 days of their starting the volunteering for their own reasons. And then we thank Mike Doris, Amani, Mr. Puranka, and Hunter here for the capturing these videos. And I said, we have so many pictures and videos. I don't know when we're going to finish it, but we're going to try. And then also we thank all the other volunteers who took their pictures and share with us, so we can share with the whole world and people who are watching us, and so we can keep them updated to give them just a little glimpse of what we went through or experienced in Tanzania. And then, of course, all the volunteers, all majority of them stayed at Luther House. That was the confirmed place. And we had some complication in there. So some of them could not stay there in initial days, and some of them chose not to stay there. And then so in between of the medical mission, we had this break. And then so we went to Sadan, which is one of the national park in Dar es Salaam. And those are the 17 days. And then also we went to Zanzibar, that's an island where people went and enjoyed the Indian Ocean. Okay, so with all that medical mission, we know there's a lesson learned, and so many things can happen, could happen, and did happen, and then so now we need to learn. So if we can prevent all those mishaps or complications or confusion, so we need to plan for next time. And then so we ask the global volunteers to provide some feedback for what they've observed, what they experienced, and what they think could have helped and what will help in the future. So that's the part to which I have Ms. Valentine's here, going to help us to summarize. For those who responded, first of all, thank you very much. I know everybody's busy, but thank you for giving us the opportunity to grow, because I believe if you provided your feedback, it means you mean well and you want us to improve. The feedback might not be all of them are glory and happy and stuff, but still we need to grow. And I thank you for everyone who provided constructive feedback, so we can learn and improve, and next time we'll do better. So we can always learn about that part. So let me see if I'll be able to pull this up.
So for helping babies breathe, based on the feedback that we got, someone said that we should meet the trainees in another 1 to 2 years so that we can determine the change in delivering care. And for nutrition and feeding the children with hydration, it was a great idea to provide lunch for the school, but moving forward, we should have a realistic and achievable goal. And we should modify and expand the vitamin and mineral section to address vitamin A and other potential deficiencies. Volunteers should meet with the school's teachers in advance to explain what must be done prior to the activities. During our executive meeting, we discussed this, and in red, this is a summary of what we addressed. So we mentioned that we can't dedicate an entire day to meet with the teachers because we need to stick to our schedule. Also, the teachers cannot be taken away from their classrooms, but maybe we will meet with the teachers before school starts and to discuss the schedule with activities over breakfast. That's a possibility. That's something that's up in the air that we're thinking about. And feeding children for feeding children for 6 months to 12 months is our long-term goal. So yeah, we will plan in advance. For media and interview and posting to social media, we did agree that the person who oversees taking pictures and posting on social media should post the pictures and videos each day of the mission, so that the viewers and the donators may actively keep up with all of the activities. It's overwhelming to post all at once, and important details or experiences may be missed out when sharing and posting late after the mission. And for transportation with logistics, people need to be more time efficient to get to the hospitals and the schools in a timely manner, or they will have to catch up later if that's the case. Otherwise, we are late and rushing to the next adventure. And someone else said that it was nice to have a reliable transportation. Private drivers who are also reliable should be available in case a small group who is willing to pay the extra expense wants to do something different from everyone else. As far as time, many things did happen behind the scenes which caused disruptions and contributed towards being late. In Tanzania, it is not uncommon for activities to start later than scheduled times. We will work on being on time moving forward. With transportation, QHSC's medical mission is a mission in which the team travels together. Having too many drivers will lead to drivers failing to show up, and private drivers to take smaller groups away from the team can compromise our safety. For logistics, considering team leaders to give information and keep, logistics. Considering the team leaders to give, we're considering to have team leaders to give information and keep things running smoothly moving forward. Everyone needs to understand what is included in the activities and logistics which they paid for. Any additional costs during the mission will be paid by the individual producing the fees. Moving on to vision acuity and screening. There is an understanding why patients benefited from the vision acuity screening. It was nice to donate sunglasses to the children with xeroderma pigmentosum. So to accommodate the sun exposure to their eyes, we should continue to collect sunglasses for future missions. Logistics and training in general. Someone said, don't jam everything into one day because it's a new time zone that volunteers need to adjust to. Training should be in the morning and visiting hospital areas during the afternoon, or go to the sites every 1 to 2 days. Trainees should have watched online videos prior to the training sessions. It would have been better to have other Swahili speakers around to facilitate communication where language became a barrier. We'll need to have more materials for students to practice and bring home. QHSC had adequate facilitators who are knowledgeable and skilled and should have this amount or more during future missions. We should continue to have previous Zoom calls to discuss several points to the discussion prior to visiting and volunteering. Volunteers should be able to spend more time in work areas where they will want to see and engage in real life experiences. And in this section, we mentioned that volunteers and trainees will need to be consistent with showing up to all training sessions. Under meals and catering services, we were told that 1 or 2 dinners should be outings, but instead of having caterings outside of the hotel, consider arranging it to be done on the roof of the hotel. That's if we stay at the Luther House again, and if they allow it. Late dinners aren't ideal, especially when the next day volunteers have to go finish things in a timely manner. Sandwiches shouldn't be soggy by the time volunteers receive their food. So we should consider finding a different place that delivers better food, or have pizza or familiar foods delivered to the hotel for those who wanted to eat similar foods from the US. Now, we're concerned with separating individuals because that can lead to the feeling of unfairness and also compromise our safety. So the executive team feels that we agreed that this shouldn't be an option. Now, some caterers may require more money to deliver food to the hotel. Having options from a menu for individual meals that sticks to the budget is being considered for future missions. Foods in Tanzania may imitate the appearance of US foods, but will not taste the same because the ingredients will be different. As far as the soggy sandwiches, that was a result of an unforeseen delay, and we plan to avoid that from happening in the future. Moving on to accommodations. Okay, so people must sign a contract before going on the trip, and form should highlight that the payment is non-refundable, whether or not they finish the mission. Volunteers should get downtime or rest time, maybe 2 nights out of the week, for volunteers to recharge for upcoming activities. The hotel was a good option and felt homey, but there should be other options for people who are willing to spend extra, such as an Airbnb or apartments, but that also has a reasonable price to it. And when we discussed this, we explained that Dr. Gabone knows Tanzania and plans accordingly. She plans this trip accordingly. She also bargains for special group discounts for us. And so by catering to everyone's needs, that will affect the discounted prices. For safari location, amount of time, and the cost, the feedback we received was that we should consider less activities and more time to enjoy the ones that are decided on, or take 1 to 2 days off on a Friday to complete the activities. The activities should not be so far from each other so that more time is available for volunteers to enjoy and learn more regarding Tanzanian culture, such as seeing cultural or historical museums. We will consider fewer activities towards the end of the mission to spend more time on those chosen activities, but will not cut the mission short to accommodate individual requests. Lodging and safaris may be more expensive. Keep that in mind. Recruiting of global volunteers. It was said that we should have better screening of the volunteers to be sure that they have the right intentions and are fully aware of the mission's purpose. As Victoria mentioned, go to Tanzania not just as a visitor, but as a visiting servant. We should be clear of what is expected from the volunteers to be on the same page as a team. Be ready to work and open your mind to new experiences and ways of living. The executive team decided that we may need to require individuals to attend an orientation to understand the medical mission and the expectations moving forward. Now, as far as shipping of supplies versus taking it with the volunteers, it was suggested that most donations should be shipped to Tanzania or be shipped from here to Tanzania by June. Any donations accepted after that should be in the form of money, or if it's supplies, then it should be saved for the next medical mission trip. Now, we'll consider this suggestion for additional items to prevent carrying additional baggage, but we would need to start collecting donations as soon as possible to make that happen. For schedule of activities during the mission, if people want to have a clear schedule of what's going on a daily basis, some meetings must be mandatory to attend or watch prior to the mission trip. Yes, we agree. And volunteers must provide feedback to prove that they understand the schedule and everything else. Having morning huddles with the team leaders will help the day run smoothly during the mission. Also, something to bring up is the need to follow the dress code. And for ways of fundraising for the group to ensure success, someone said that we should work on getting funding earlier, even if that means it's a year in advance, so that we know how much we have even before planning the upcoming trip. Therefore, we can plan according to what we have instead of estimating what the cost will be. And we should try to refrain from having donations come from those who are volunteering and aim for different organizations or donors instead. And during the meeting, the executive meeting, we discussed that team leaders and their group members should try to raise funds and collect donations to go towards the team's activities. Please keep in mind that there is never any pressure for anyone to participate. We appreciate it. QHSC appreciates your willingness to be proactive in any way possible. Asante Sana.
Thank you very much, Ms. Clarence. I know that was our ordered information, but we try to summarize as much as we can. So if any person has any concern or added comment to those areas, we really appreciate if you watch this video after we finish this meeting. We appreciate any feedback because that's the only way we will learn and grow, and because we want to do better next time. So for people who have attended this meeting right now, any comment or questions on any of the feedback that Ms. Barrington shared with us?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I just want to comment on the school portion of it. I don't believe that the part about we have to stick to a schedule really qualifies, because like Teresa and I were there every day, all day with the teachers. There was more than enough time to meet with the teachers. It doesn't take more than the two of us to explain what's being done and how it's being done. So I still think that's important. Like we learned while we were there that the concern was vitamin A and different vitamins. So we learned from them, and we can also teach them different ways to incorporate it and use it in their meal. So I think it's really important. And plus, the kids, when we gave them the Cliff Bars, they were biting into the wrapper. They didn't know about taking the wrapper off first. So there's little things like that, little cultural things that we do need to meet with them ahead of time. And so there was more than enough time. We could have talked to the teachers, and even on a different, they all came together at one point for us to talk to them, but there was more than enough time to meet with them individually or in small groups or anything like that. We could work that out. So.
In fact, I appreciate Mrs. Christine for saying that. And I think nutrition project, you guys did an exceptional work. I mean, there's no denying that part. You guys did an excellent job. And the reason that we had the schedule for only 2 things in each day, because we knew you can say start at 8:30, it's going to start at 9. So if you had something at 9, you're going to be pushing it. So that's why I said like 8:30, the next one is 10:30, because we knew there's a leeway of, and it's okay. I mean, as you said, there's plenty of time of being able to talk to the teacher. I think, I'm not sure, like who sent the message, but I'm gathering that maybe somebody wanted like talk to the teacher like even the day before, and then you sit down and talk to them, or we could have had Zoom with the teacher. I mean, that also brings other sets of complications. We know that, because you're not going to ask somebody else to go on the Zoom, pay for their data, and to come and listen to what you're going to come and tell them. While you were there, you can talk to them right there. As you said, Mrs. Christine, you can have 5 minutes or whatever, tell them, okay, we're going to teach you this, and then you're always going to find people to come and talk to you. We didn't jump back at the special school. It's only 2 items per day. And then for sports, they have only 2 groups, because we knew even if you put an hour and a half for the sports, you're going to spend 2.5 or 3 hours for one group. So we know that. So that's why we were spacing them, one in the morning, in the midday, or one in the evening, because there's no way you can do like every hour, like time clock. It's not going to work. But I mean, I appreciate you identify that part. But I think somebody who was asking for that, either they were meaning something else, which we're going to try to accommodate as much as we can. But there's also timeline and things that we cannot change the schedule to be able to accommodate individual requests. But it's great to know, and then so at least where people are thinking. So next time when we were providing feedback, we can make sure it's clear and then find those opportunities, what Mrs. Christine was saying. Talk to them before, and you have time in between. You can go back and talk to them, find the offices. You can just walk up and then say, so and say something started at 8:30, maybe 8:25, go find whoever you were supposed to talk to. And even if the conversation takes longer and the 8:30 comes, that's okay. You can go 8:35 and do it. It's not like it's the military, you have to finish those things. And I'm sure the sports group will attest to that. I mean, yeah, you want to get the kids out? Yeah, so the teacher has to come and line them up. Okay, get the bottles. Okay, write your name. Okay, let's run to the field. Okay, I mean, those things are going to add the time. Okay, if we're thinking of 8:30, we have to start you're going to get frustrated very quickly. And it doesn't work that way in Tanzania. And people are going to look at you like, okay, why are you stressed out? But I think just having that mindset from the beginning, and I believe, I think part from the discussion and the other people who have been providing feedback is like, have to open mind. You're not going to have like a military run medical mission. It's not going to work. You're going to get frustrated yourself. And I apologize for the late dinners, but also there's sometimes push those things. And then, yes, we're going to need to work better next time. I agree. But we need to be able to rearrange things. Okay, instead of maybe reminding them at 7, thinking they're going to cook it in half an hour. It's a restaurant, so they should have food. Anyway, that's another story for another day. But I mean, it's a lesson learned, and I appreciate everybody, as I said, for providing feedback, because the only way we can improve is if you guys tell us what you feel, what you experience, so we can make it better. So then the next experience is better than the last, and then that's how we're going to enjoy, and everybody go and do what they know best is to volunteer. So thank you, Mrs. Christine. Anybody has any feedback before we jump into the next thing? Yes, go ahead.
Just one more thing. I was just thinking, it is part of giving the teachers forewarning, letting them know. Just like we gave them a lesson plan when we went into the room, we'll just write out a sheet, a basic informational sheet, give it to them before we go in, you know, whether we send it to Clara, or we give it to them the day before we go into the classroom. So they have forewarning of what's happening as well.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
No, that definitely helps. Definitely, I agree. So it's just something, but to be flexible and creative, and then we can make it better. Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
Anybody else?
I got something. Yeah, I was going to say, I think for next year, what we'll do is we just plan a little closer, or we'll try to figure out, because you have a better idea, Ms. Kristen, of what you want to do. But just remember, whatever you did last year, you might do some of it and you may have some modifications, or you might have some other additional ideas. Because remember, what you're doing now is something that you're creating as you're going along. And it's actually, it's a great thing. So there's going to be growth, there's going to be changes. I'm not going to say that the application is always going to be perfect, but we'll try to plan a little better. But now you have a better idea. So when we sit down to discuss next year, and I agree. So I think the sports, some of the other activities that are kind of like, it's like almost like the same stuff over and repetitive again. We're just trying to, even the vision, it's like the same thing. You know, you're going to get the next class. I think yours is just a little bit finer. It was just applied a little bit finer. You had a lot more flexibility, which you took advantage of, and you did a lot of creative things. So, I mean, I think in the end, you actually, you know, you did the best that you could and made the most of it, and you learned a lot. So I think for next year, we'll just plan. We'll plan a little closer, and then we'll just fine tune your schedule a little better. And if there's little gray areas or something like that that we have to leave in there or something like that or whatever, that's fine. But I think as Dr. Gaboni said, there's always going to be that problem, because we talked about, we have some great volunteers in Tanzania now, but then we talked about, if we want to have a meeting with just them, you'll see they'll come in, then they'll be here, but either they don't have a microphone, or their data doesn't stay on, or, you know, different issues and stuff like that. So it's a little harder to coordinate with them. But other than that, like I said, you did a great job. And then I just want to say one other thing too. So if you look at Miss Kristen, she's the type of challenge that we appreciate. So when she comes in there, she's like, we need this, we want that, we want to do this. And this is her third time going on the mission. So we know where her heart is, and that she is pushing to reach those goals. And she's actually in a groove right now. So we got to make sure we continue to facilitate that groove. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you.
She's part of the furniture.
Yes. Yes, I am.
No, we appreciate. I mean, the goals, I mean, yeah. We appreciate all the contribution you guys are doing. Anybody else? Miss Bree? Miss Diaz?
I have something to add.
Go.
In regards to people wanting to stay at other Airbnbs, I know they're adults and we can't hold them in a hostel. However, if you need to call an emergency meeting, I think that it's wise if we're all in one place. And that way, like if you do have something to say or something said, no one's feeling left out, because if people are all over the place, it's hard, you know, for them to, the complaint was that some people felt left out and others weren't clear about the schedule. But what if you have to call an emergency meeting? Then we have to worry about transportation, getting people. So I think it should be more mandatory that we all stay in one location together. You know?
Agree.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, Bree. That was the plan, and that was still always going to be a plan for me for two reasons. First one, we are going there for medical mission. We're not going on vacation. As I said, I mean, if you did not know, I from there. I have family members that just even 2 steps over there, but I would never do that because I'm going with you for the medical mission. I'm going to stay with you everywhere I go with you. That's one. The second thing is the safety, because you do not know the country. You can go there 10 times, good for you. But if you get there and you get in trouble, I don't know where you are. My heart is going to sink because I don't want to take you to the country and then I have no idea where you are. The only way I know is like to keep ourselves together and then do things together. It's a medical mission. You want to have other plans, that's fine. At the end of the medical mission, you go wherever you need to do, that's fine. As I said, Bree said, everybody's at that. I'm not going to hold, no, you go with me on the plane. No, I don't do that. But give me the days for the medical mission and then you come with us. And then whatever you need to do outside, it's up to you. And then so I'm not going to be responsible for that part. So it's very nice to have those flexibility, but if the goal is medical mission, let's go and do the medical mission. And then you can plan something before or after, that's fine.
I agree. Thank you.
I was going to say, actually, me and Dr. Gavoni had a little discussion about that because I was like, no, we're going to tape the schedule on the elevator. We're going to put it on the doors because we have this problem every year. The schedule is sent out, I don't know in how many different ways. And for some reason, nobody knows what the schedule is. So I was like, we're going to tape. And she was like, no, you can't do that. This is the Luther house. You can't just tape your stuff all over the walls and everything like that. So I was like, okay, never mind.
No, and I understand the schedule is going to change. I mean, we're in a different country. So that's why I think it's better for, you know, all in one place. And I understand that this year there was complications, but I know people still wanted to stay at other hotels and Airbnbs, and I don't think that's wise.
And besides that, like, I don't think maybe it wasn't like 5 stars hotel, but in general was really, I was expecting a lot worse because like we say, we were in a medical mission So for me, it was a lot more than what I expect.
The
So,
hostel was very nice. It was beautiful, honestly. And the food was really good. Everyone did good.
And thank you, yes, and Bree. So to add it to that part for the accommodation purposes, the more people we have, the discount I get. So when we were making this reservation, we had 30 people. Yes, the 3 people were doing, it was known from the beginning just for personal reason, and that was agreeable. From the time that they were recruiting, they'll just say, I'm gonna go and stay on my mom's house, which her mom was here helping for her kids. I said, I will take that, I'll take your expertise and you go and stay at mom's house. So that was understood. There was no, but I know for sure if she had the opportunity, she would stay with us. And we saw she was coming with us all the time, which I appreciate that. But the other part is the more people we have, the discount we get for that area. Because that usually, if you go online right now and look, that was supposed to be $50 per night. We end up paying.
They wanted them Zungu prices too.
No, but that's just also for the price for whatever the rooms there. So we had the better rooms and we have for a bigger number. So they give us a discount. So if you want people separated from different places, then the price is going to be higher. And I'm trying to make sure we don't go more than $2,500. That including a ticket, your visa, and everything else. So if we allow everybody choose their own, individual expenses is going to be $3,000. And then I have my favorite nursing students and I want them to go. So we can't just price the things so high that it becomes so expensive that people don't want to go. And then people are dedicated, wants to go and volunteer. They can't do because they cannot afford. So that's not fair. And as Ms. Yesi said there, we're going for medical mission. So we need to get accommodations that is safe. I mean, I would definitely take safe. And then we can go there and live. I mean, there's hot water, there's air conditioning, which majority of them don't have air conditioning. But we are able to stay somewhere safe, and at least we can have that. And definitely rooftop, we're going to consider that next time. So all those suggestions you're providing, definitely we can make it better. But still, we have to go as a group. We have to do things as a group. And that is a non-negotiable, to me at least. That's non-negotiable. Because if somebody wants to do something different, please, there's so many organizations. I don't want to keep kicking out people. No. There are so many organizations you can join and you can have the leeway or freedom you have. That's okay. But if you are joining the organization, let's have that closeness mentality, family mentality. Let's go and work together and help the people that you promised to go and help. And then when you come back, you do your own stuff. And that, I think, it should be the end of that discussion.
Well, I got one more thing.
Huh?
I said I have one more thing.
Okay.
No, I was going to say, so multiply. So we went to the Luther house. There was an issue that came up, right? As soon as we got there the first day. Now multiply that by 5 or 4, and then imagine Dr. Gavoni trying to put out those fires for all those different people. Because in Tanzania, what's going to happen is, and I'm sure, yes, he can attest to this. If you go to a restaurant and you show up there and you have a party that's over a certain size, they're going to be like, we can't accommodate you. Right? You can sit wherever you want, you do whatever you want. We can't. In Tanzania, if you say I have a group of 25 people, even if the restaurant only sits 2 people, they're going to say, we'll take them. That's just how it is. If you say, hey, can you show up at 9 o'clock and take us to this place? They're going to be like, yeah, even though they know they have somebody to take at 8:45 and they're not going to be there till 9:30. They're not going to turn down money. So what's going to happen is you're going to wind up, I want this Airbnb, then something runs as a complication. And then it would be really bad. If it was me, maybe I might say this, but I know that Dr. Gaboni's not going to say it. I'd be like, well, that's what you wanted. You find a solution. We're busy. You see what I'm saying? And so that's where the problem comes in, because then when those problems come in, they're going to come for help. And now we're going to have even greater problems. So that's why Dr. Gaboni prefers to just do everything and get it done to the best of her ability at that time. And she puts in a lot of time and research and effort into it. And she exploits her relationships with people. And that's one of the most important things that we're talking about here when we talk about the team and the group sticking together and the power of the group and all that stuff like that. Es cuanto.
Gracias. Okay, let's go to the, let's go back to our agenda. So, okay, so after the lesson, so now let me give you the report of what we did, how many training did we do, and how many people benefited from our training. So it's a big screen, and I know it's busy, but just look on the top. It says training for 2022, medical mission for Tanzania, and then how many people attended. That's the second column. How many hours did you spend training? And then the last one is the facilitators. So let's start to saying help baby breathe. So we trained nurses and doctors 229. That was 4 hours in each day, 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the afternoon, and for 4 days. So that's 16 hours. And we had 14 facilitators for each session. Postpartum hemorrhage taught 215 nurses and doctors, and we did 4 hours, the same thing for help baby breathe. And we had 12 facilitators. So vision screening, I think it's cutting off, my apologies. We screened, the school has 789 students, but we were able to screen 764 students and teachers for 6 hours a day for 4 days. So which is 24 hours was spent for that. And then, so there was 4 optometrists, including Dr. Stenville, who was the lead for the vision part. And then we had 5 assistants who were there. Some of them were interpreters, some of them are Miss Sandys and other volunteers were there. Mr. Jones, thank you very much for logistic part. He was able to capture every single one of the child information on the computer. So thank you very much. So we were able to do, and I'll give you more information about the vision screening. So for burn wound care training, thank you, Mrs. Victoria Jones. She was able to see at least approximately 100. I put just a very flexible number because I know she has seen a number of people, a lot of patients and staff training also. So she was spending the first 4 days, all the days she went to the burn unit and department and the surgeries and all the stuff to talk to the doctors and nurses about the wound care brand, and then she demonstrated all those stuff. So she was the lead, and then she had the two of the volunteers. I think Mr. Raymond Siakabe and Miss Hunter Hare went with her. Thermoregulation, so this was done in Mwananyamala and Buguruni. So we approximately especially for the thermoregulation, we taught parents for 4 times. So one group went to Mwananyamala one day. So they did the Dr. Msambichak, I believe, and Hunter, I think they did the thermoregulation for those mom and baby, because when we're teaching the moms, we are doing the demonstration on the baby. Of course, both of them are benefiting that part. And then so one group also was in Buguruni doing exactly the same thing, and then we swapped the second day. And then so approximately hours we spent doing the thermoregulation for each day was 4 hours, and then we did for 2 days, so that's 8 hours. And that's, remember I said the pediatric team and the OB team was swapping those 2 days, so total of 15 healthcare workers and 3 assists. Those are non-healthcare workers, which I think with Ms. Sandy, Yesi, and Amani taking pictures for us. But so for the sports, we were able to see all the students, 789, for those 3 days. So those activities, nutrition, hydration, and dental hygiene, and hand washing, we saw all the students 789, because we went through the classes each day, and every single child, every single student who attended to school those days got that education. So I put approximately 5 hours per day for the sports, because they were, remember, you're spending more time. What was base hours was at 3.5 hours. So I know for sure you guys spend more time because the kids are still playing. So I put approximately 5 hours per day. And then we did for 7 days, because the only day I think we did not do the sports is the last day when they were saying goodbye to us. So approximately those 35 hours for sports. And then so there was 4 lead coaches, Mr. Mike, Mr. Paranka Renee, and Mr. Paranka KG, and Ms. Yesi. And then so those, and then the assistants. So there were other teachers or coaches helping there at school. So different days. So I put just approximately 5 numbers. So it could be 9 people who are working with those kids. Nutrition, Mrs. Christine and Ms. Teresa Cooper, thank you very much. So they had at least 3 hours a day, and for 4 days the first week. And then I didn't add it the second week, but that was just because you guys were doing the investigation and adding up to your project. So thank you very much. So total of at least 12 hours, which I know it might be more than that. And then the 2 leads, and then you had your interpreters there. So I put just 2. And then dental hygiene, that was the last day where all the volunteers came who were able to come, I believe were 27. And then so they were going in each class and teach dental hygiene, like half an hour here, half an hour there. So I just put approximately 4 hours, which was 30 volunteers with the translators. And then the arts and craft, I would say probably they did maybe 2 or 3 classes because that was late added. And I think also some of the issue about the scheduling and seeing teachers earlier than normal, that's probably came up to that one because it was not an original schedule. So an added to it creates some issues that you have to be able to accommodate in the schedule. So talking to the teachers, of course, they have to do some arrangements to be able to do the kids. So I put it just 300 as an estimate, like maybe 2 or 3 classes they were able to do the arts and craft. And then so I put 3 to 6 hours for those time that they were able to see each class. And one lead, that was Miss Shani, and then assist, I think was Kriya, and the interpreter there. So that'll be, I think, Miss Leah Philip. So thank you very much for doing that part. So also the pediatricians from Mwananyamala and Buguruni, they were able to do rounds. I put just an estimate of 30, so I may be more than that. That time when they're doing rounds and learning about the patients, things that they can do. And I'm sure next mission, we're gonna probably dedicate more time so they'll be able to go and talk to the physician nurses actually taking care of these patients, so we can provide our consultation role as an organization. And then so I put at least 12 hours for 2 hospitals, those amount of hours spent in each day. And then so there were 7 people in the pediatric team. And then we went to the magnet. We were able to see the kids, 100 athletes and coaches and parents. Those are for 2 days, only for 2 hours each day, and for 2 days, so that's 4 hours. And then so the active volunteers who were either doing the prevention of minor injuries or health, nutrition and stuff, there were a total of 14 with doing the drills, working with the coaches. So just a quick math, this usually we have to do that because we have to verify how many hours we spend when we're doing this education. So in the second column, it says we were able to teach educational training. This included the kids, the nurses, doctors, everywhere we did. 4,205 people received the education training or screening. And then how many hours did you spend? You spend 161 hours for training. And then so if somebody was paying us, so we have to calculate those hours and then start distribute to people who, if somebody, it was only one person who's doing all this education, then we have to pay them for 161 hours. And then if we needed to do individual training and then facilitators, individual facilitators doing only one thing, so then we need 123 facilitators to accomplish what we did. So that is a big deal. And I thank, again, all the global volunteer and donors who were able to buy and donate a lot of supplies, so we were able to do all this training. So this screenshot is going to be posted on the website, so if you don't need to taking the tallies over that. So thank you. Okay, so for the donation part, so this is just a little synapse. We did collect it through Cash App, Zelle, Venmo, GoFundMe, and Facebook. And some people still send cash and check. So thank you very much. So you can see the itemized for through Cash App, we did almost 2,700. Zelle will be almost 300. Venmo 225. GoFundMe was 870. Facebook we did 28. So the Facebook one, people did a lot of you know, like a birthday promotions or identify like postpartum hemorrhage and stuff. So those are the things that you can see they're working when people are doing giving out the donation. And then of course for cash, so definitely see people write check. You can see that's the biggest one we got, and we see continue to encourage people if they feel safe by sending the check to us. In fact, that's even better because it's easier to send them with the EIN number. So total of cash at hand was 15,122 and 30 cents. Now we go back to the, so now we go back, oops, sorry. Now we go back to the in-kind donation. So remember, this is just a cash. And so some of the things that we were able to collect and then buy from the cash. So then you see on the next slide I will show you. But then before I show you how we did, how much things we got from the in-kind donation, I'm going to invite Miss Catherine Dudek to come and share with us how did she calculate that amount. Ms. Catherine, give us how she came up with the in-kind donation estimates.
I had a spreadsheet of the individual itemized, and I went item by item on Amazon and just priced it best I could. So if we had, say, 800 hats that were knit, I went on there, and if there were like 3 for 17, you know, you do the math, whatever. But then for the thermal regulation, because everything was hand knit, I took the difference between an Amazon price, and I don't know if anyone's heard of Etsy, but you go on Etsy and people sell handmade items. So I took the difference of price between Amazon and Etsy because people put in their time, and you can't just, you know, go on Amazon and buy a hand knit hat. You know, it's going to be manufactured. So I just wanted to make sure that the time donation was in there as well.
Yeah, so that was excellent. Okay, so amount we collected, I said cash at hand, it was $15,122. And then of course we did receive the large donation from the Cliff Bar matching 1,500, which was total 2,000, sorry, and 500 went to the nutrition program, and then the other one goes to the medical mission. So we thank Ms. Teresa for spearheading that part, and then working with Mrs. Christine. And then so individual donors, you can see they were ranging from $10 to $2,500. So we do thank them quite a bit, and we always rely on them to help us, and because they believe on us. So we really need to come back and show them what we did and share with what their donation help us. So that's why I think on the feedback, Ms. Valentine was saying that it is very good to be able to go there, tell them we start the medical mission today, and then we start posting those things that we are doing that day, so they can see, and then they will say, okay, so those are the things that are happening, and the contribution is at work. Okay, start asking this part for distribution purposes. So remember, I said we did the in-kind, collecting from online, we had Cash App, Venmo, all those platforms, they were able to reduce. So now, those contribution or donation were given for specific groups. So Help Baby Breathe, there were 4,100 specific to go for Help Baby Breathe. And I thank them for that group. They were able to buy all the supplies they needed, and whatever was left, they were able to contribute to the medical mission to help other groups. So I say thank you very much. For postpartum hemorrhage, so we raised only 445 because the majority of the staff were given in actual supply. So that you can see the in-kind donation for that part is 7,399. So a lot of people, when we were telling them we're doing the donation for postpartum hemorrhage, like, what do you need specifically? I need the pads, I need the chucks. So when you tell them that, people go and buy those things and say, here it is. So that's why you see the amount, actual amount in dollars is in-kind donation versus the cash donated. Same thing for the thermoregulation. When we ask about the blankets and stuff, the hats, the mittens, whatever, people went to town with making those little mittens hat. Oh my goodness. You should have seen people in Tanzania. They were so happy. And you can see it's almost 10,000 worth of those hats were donated to support that thermoregulation project. Backpack, of course, we were able to raise 2,500 thanks to Ms. Janet Musa to run that project. And then, of course, we were able to get also 50 backpack full of the school supplies from Salem Church. And thank you very much for them. And those backpacks were given to the kids who were top 5% of each for merit base. So, and they were so happy. So for the medical mission by itself, just by itself, we were able to raise $4,636, and for school nutrition and battle project, it was $2,386. And then school supplies, that was specific for like a notebook. We got a bigger donation. Thank you very much for 1,000, which you bought all the notebook for the kids, because I think the cost was like 950 something with the tax and whatever. So it was the amount was perfectly fit for that. So for the burn and wound, we didn't have actual amount of dollars, but also in donation part, we had $150. For the screening, vision screening, we didn't raise an actual amount of money, but you can see on the other side, I'm going to give you more details on that one. So you can see $80,000 worth of the exam time and for the glasses. So thank you, Dr. Stenville, for all you did, and we appreciate. And she's ready for working for the next medical mission. So we love her, and so thank you. Arts and crafts. So as I said, this is a late added project. So then they were able to bring the crayons for the kids to be able to play, also to use and color them. And so you will see when we do the video about the school and craft and stuff, so you can see what the kids did. They love it. And then for sports, again, same thing. It was not like a cash collected, but people donated through that group. They donated and bought the stuff, which worth of $833. So it might be more than that, because sometimes when people say, oh, I bought 4, sometimes they bring 5 or 6, and then we just stick on with whatever the original suggestion was. So all in all, if we look at what we had cash at hand, that was $15,000 and a few change there, but in-kind donation was $112,000 worth of content. That is unheard of. And that, as I said, I had to add and try to count my fingers and my toes to try and see how high I can count. So I thank every single one person who donated, even one pencil, one pad, one hat, one whatever. Thank you very much, because there's no way we could have bought these things and take it to Tanzania and donate them. There's no way. But from the very, very dedicated people who wants to help, they were able to help us reach that goal. And that is definitely a huge goal and a very difficult one to follow after that. But we thank everybody for that. Okay, community outreach. So some of the things that we did last time, so now we need to do in future, as I said, visiting churches, visiting group that they can help us. So if you have any suggestion as a Qhsc friends or member, please come and join us and let us know. If your church will welcome us, we'll be happy to come. Or if you have an organization or group or something that you think it might be helpful for us, definitely we'll be happy. We can give you the material to come and share with them. And then so we were able just to go to this church. So thank you, Ms. Panton. Thank you, Dr. Vanessa Stenville. We were able to go and see those ones. So we need to do those things a little bit more, because a lot of times people are asking, so what exactly do you do? And then so it's easier for us to be able to have like a little materials, brochure and stuff to help. And if somebody wants to work on those things and help us to have like ready to go things, then help. We do have some of it, but always if you have a different eyes of things, then we have a better product. Anyway, so now for school, we had so many things done at school, and I know I have not shared the videos yet. We are getting there slowly because we are just uploading one thing at a time. We just finished the vision last few days ago. So the next thing is going to be started going things that were done in school: nutrition, sports, the fun day, thank you day. So all those things you'll be able to do towards the end. Going to share them, and you see the pure joy. And that's one of the reasons that we do this medical mission, because of those faces. When you see them, that they are so happy for the little things that we are doing for them is enlighten their life. And you can see they pay us in joyful dancing and rewarding. So it was a very beautiful sight to see, and it makes all the hard work paid off. So that's a little few videos I'm going to play. You can see. So the first one was we were giving them those backpack, 830 backpack. So every single child who went to Minazini received that backpack with a bit of crayons, index card, little eraser, and so all the backpack has their logos. Okay. This is like a awali. That's a kindergarten.
They're wearing a different uniform.
The kindergarten.
Just because different grade. That they only
Okay. Okay, so now we're coming to our famous program, nutrition. So you can see on the left side, the Cliff Bar was in the class. And look at those smiles of every kid who is waiting for the Cliff Bar. So thank you, Ms. Teresa and Ms. Christine, for doing that part. So the other one is on the right on the screen. Those are the children. Those kindergarten kids are going to get the food. So we were able to provide food for them for 9 days. So you can see they're lining. Usually they don't get food from school. So since we were there, so we were able to provide food for them. So you can see they're waiting. One with the uniform, white and blue, those are first grade. So, but the one with the maroon and shirt, skirt or shorts, those are for kindergarten.
And I think that's the mayor, or Prince. Some people called him Prince, the little kid that was walking off at the end there. He's everywhere all the time.
Oh yeah, he always goes to the volunteers. He's always a show up. Okay, so let's go for sports. As I said, there's so many things that, but you can see, thank you to Miss Yes here. You can see the kids who are playing the sack and running around and falling off. Having a good time. But I said you see more on the individual videos for each event, so that was good. And then on the right side you can see they were lined up doing the cons and just practicing the sports related. So you can see our volunteers wearing those blue polo shirts to try and train these kids. So thank you very much. You get more also for the sports group. And then we go back to the vision now. So vision, you can see on the bottom left here, Mr. Jones is getting all the statistics that we have. That's why we are able to count how many kids were there and if they had any vision issues, and if they do, then did they get class and the prescription. You can see me stand in action there. But anyway, so looking at those statistics, so they were able to screen 664 people, and then 21 of them were teachers, and then 9 of them were received. So it's almost close to 42% or 43. So 745 for the kids screened, so 66 of them received glasses. So that's almost close to 9%. Oh, good. Close to 9%. And then 7 school board members who were screened, 4 of them had received glasses. That means they have vision issues. So that's more than half. So you can see the adult numbers are a little bit higher. So part of it now, we were talking to with Dr. Stenville that more likely next time when we go, we have to go to the community to be able to address that issue, because you can see they're closing to half percent of people who are working around there. Probably they have vision issues, and majority of them have not had screens. So if we can go and address that part and help, that would be excellent. We're still gonna do the children, definitely. We wanna make sure they have good eyesight so they'll be able to study and learn. But if the adults also are struggling with that part, if we can catch it early and then give them those glasses, definitely that will help improve the quality of their life. If somebody's doing schools or even looking at their phone and stuff, so at least they'll have a better vision to function. So thank you very much, all of those memories. So it creates a lot of things that we need to do, and all the feedback, it helps us for the next time. Okay, questions. I'm gonna, after I finish this screen, then I'm gonna let everybody, if you have anything to discuss. So future plans for the organization is definitely we're trying to increase our visibility, make sure everything we do is for branding. You can see from the backpack, we did all the water bottles. We also did all the branding, but because we wanna make sure we make ourselves visible. So when we're trying to get these projects going, then we can have at least the sponsors or people who can give us money to try and help us to accomplish those things. Definitely, we have to emphasize of our medical mission, as I said. That's why I was reading it from the beginning of this meeting, to make sure everybody knows if you agree to come and jump in and with us. So just make sure you are following whatever we intended to do. We don't want to go outside our mission and start doing things that they should not be done. And then, of course, now we have to discuss in the future how many number of volunteers is effective. And I know one from the meeting, we are looking for quality volunteers, not the quantity. Not the quantity. So having number 30, and if we have a project that requires people to be 30 from the United States, then yes, we have that number. Or if we have more, then we have to make a little bit more logistic planning to make sure we are addressing those things and make it the mission successful. So funding, of course, we already discussed that we do need to make sure we get funding requests early on. Corporate sponsors, if you have anybody who knows that can work with us, we are willing to come and talk and tell them what is about Qhsc. We can give you information if you want to be part of it. We can give you information about the organization so you can go and be our ambassador and share what we do or what we have done, so then they can jump in. And that's part of the reason that we did this time all the summary of activities to do them in topic specific. So let's say we are going to ask for more glasses. So then you go with a vision link and say, this is what we did last time. And then now we want to do double the time or whatever. So the same thing we did the sports. So that it's going to be, this is what, oh, this you did it for Help Baby Breathe. We need more money for the mannequin so we can have the nurses and doctors practice, or we can leave more stuff for them to practice. Or for postpartum hemorrhage, we'll be able to buy that NSG. So all those things we need to be able to do by getting specific content for specific projects. And then, of course, we need to share the expectation of the volunteers. We can see from the feedback, people need to be on the same same page before they leave. And then so we don't have any of those mishap, conflict, or concern, or feeling left out, or feeling unfulfilled because their expectations are not met, and which we did not know the expectation, but we need to find out. All of us should have mission expectations. That's it. And we agree the recruitment process is going to be followed by all the volunteers. It does not matter how they are recruited or anything. It's going to be a team to be able to say, to streamline, these are the expectations, this is what we expect you to do. Is it okay? Yes. If it's not okay, that's okay. You don't have to volunteer in here. You can go another place where they agree with that expectation. And then, of course, we need to cover about the day functionings of the organization. Yes, we're not only just focusing on the medical mission, we're focusing on also everyday function. We do need to support our communities, and definitely starting with here in Florida, where the organization is settled. But then, of course, eventually we can go anywhere else where we feel that there's a need and we can support that. So our members and volunteers are going to help us when we continue to grow. So then next time, maybe somebody from, I don't know, Atlanta saying we want to do this and this here as Qhsc, can you guys come? So we plan ahead and we know who can go, who can, what are they going to do there? And then if it's beneficial and people can do it, then sure, we will do that. But in order to support the daily function of the organization, we do have to have membership. So the leadership right now is contributing 150 for a year, and that's the leadership. So now we're thinking of having a membership for the general group. And then so it was suggested to be 75, and that's one-time installment for the whole year. And then so people can pay in installment or can pay one time. So that's the discussion that we're going to have at the end of the year, discussion with all the volunteers. And people, we have to choose, they want to be members or they want to be friends. And we're not kicking anybody out. We want your contribution, but also we want to be able to have a solid foundation of what we need to do. And if you believe on our cause, we appreciate your contribution so we can be able to do many things and help a bigger group. So with that, last thing I have, and then we can share the screen together, is volunteers. We do ask all the volunteers or members, Qhsc and friends, if you are feeling inspired and you want to strengthen this organization, we welcome your time and talent. And of course, if you want to work on the website and try to, maybe you look at the website and say, you know what, I can do this, or you guys have to, you can add this and this and this. If you're willing to come and help us, please do that. We're going to work with you and try to make it better. And then we're thinking of working with Thanksgiving messages. So we always give a Thanksgiving message. We are grateful, and we need to thank our donors that they have carried us through. Definitely they carry us through. And then so we need to say thank you to them. So if you know a way, fun way, memorable way to say it, please join us. And so we can create that part. November is a few days away. And then, of course, end of year meeting, we're going to have at least a summary of the whole year and plan for future missions and what are the things that we need to do. If you want to be part of it, please come in and we can do that. And then, of course, if we're working with those brochure, posting updates and stuff, you want to be part of it, you want to work with the videos, and you have that creative side, sure, come in. Work on advertisement, please. We want those help. And then, so if you are interested and you feel inspired, please send your information to our secretary, Ms. Valentine Dantes, and so she will be happy to share your names with us, and then we can work on whatever area you want to work with. So with that, I want to show just a little fun part, and then I'm going to come back so we can discuss if you have anything to say. So this is the group of the last day at school. See Mr. Hunter there. Okay. So the group of volunteers, so this is one of the school, and you can see the assistant head teacher there and one of the teacher included in the picture. And then, so this is the postpartum hemorrhage group. They did, I think that's the second day, they did a picture with the people who came for the training. I think this is the trained people from Manayamala, I believe. And then the Help Baby Breathe, I know some of them are missing, but majority of them were there. So thank you very much. This is the last day when we were talking about at all of the volunteers who are at school, those who came there, I think there were like 30 of us. So we're just closing up stuff, and after from there, then we went outside and danced with the kids. Okay, so my stories ends there, and I welcome you guys if you have any comments, questions. Anybody?
No, I was just going to send a thank you. I know it wasn't mentioned, but as usual, Victoria can send a message. Thanks again to Steve Jones for being the prayer warrior.
Yes. Oh, no, definitely. That's going to come on the video too, but yeah, definitely. It was a great thing that he was able to pray for us every single day, night, everywhere we went. for everything. So we thank him for that. And we believe, I think all those turbulent and challenges and stuff were lessened in impact because he was praying for us and give us his spiritual strength. So we appreciate that part. Anybody has any comment, questions? Yes.
Just many thanks to everyone again. Many, many, many thanks for all of your contributions.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so you see that number, you'll be like, okay. Yeah, we need to double that next time. Right, Bree?
Yes, ma'am. Triple.
Okay, from your mouth to God's ears. Yes. Any comments, Mr. Karanka, Bree, or Yesi, Mrs. Victoria, from the medical mission, things that you need to give an idea for people? Anything that you want to say for the medical mission?
No, I mean, I think it's continuously growing and improving, and I love it. I'm looking forward to the next one.
I know, we need to feed them for 6 months or a year.
Definitely.
You wait until the video for nutrition comes out, you see. I love it. I love all the pictures of all the food and stuff. I'm like, wow, that's nice.
Yeah, it was awesome. Awesome.
But anyway, so if there's nothing else, I take this opportunity to thank every one of you. There's Mrs. Victoria. Hey.
Hi there, everybody.
Hi, how are you?
I am well. I am well.
Okay.
Cool. Good morning. I had one ear taking care of something else, and then I was listening as well and looking at the videos.
Okay.
Good. You didn't see me dancing with the little moves with the little guy and everything.
I saw that, and that's why I took the video. I'm like, okay, there's Mr. Victoria.
Mm-hmm.
No, that was good. That was good. That was very fitting for the ending of our medical mission. Definitely, it was. That was the highlight. Definitely, those kids appreciate every little thing we've done for them. So, and so we appreciate also everybody, and we thank you for. I know you missed the part for the burn. So thank you.
I know.
So no, that's okay.
So I did go back and see the donations that I received from people. So I'll plug that into Valtine. And then also I was not able to post any pictures. See, I have this hard drive storage. I'm going to get these pictures off my phone and videos. My phone is locked up pretty much. So I'm not tech savvy like this. So I have to take time and get all that stuff off my phone. And then I have, some nice pictures to post from the burn unit and stuff like that. So
Okay, that'll be good. That'll be
great.
Hi.
Hey,
Hello, Lady B.
Hey.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I will be posting some pictures.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
So the next meeting is going to be the end of the year. So we get the summary and then we get the future activities. So I think that's December 10. And then so that's the one which is going to be like the end of the year and then planning of next year. And that one is definitely is going to be a lot of functional stuff that the organization needs to do, and what do we need to do, when can we start. So if anybody is interested and wants to do those things, as I asked towards the end there, just let me know, because if everybody just chip up on one of the things, it's going to make it a little bit easier to have a lot of them accomplished versus just waiting from one person. So I know Bree is working on something as a surprise. And I know Yes also is working with Bree with something else, another surprise. So people are volunteering, so I thank you guys for doing that. But I know Mrs. Christine is working on something with Miss Teresa. I'm not sure if I was supposed to say anything, but that's okay. So thank you. I can't wait. I know Mrs. Victoria is working on something else. I know for sure. Yes, ma'am. So I mean, those are things that once you secure and you find somebody who can be shipping stuff safely, then yeah, we can start shipping things throughout the year versus not waiting until only one time. But as of now, we're just aiming for that part. And also we to add to that, we are working on things that say activity from the organization for the people from Florida. So more information to come and more volunteering opportunities to come, especially for people in Florida. And if it's something that is planned ahead, we're going to share the dates and stuff. So people from other states who want to come to Florida, the sunny state, running away from your code, you can come and help us to do those things. We put you to work. And some of the people, we are waiting for them to finish school so they can start working.
And the rain. Yeah.
Okay, guys, anything that you guys want to say, or otherwise I can end the meeting. We went a little bit more than what I thought, but an hour and a half, that's not bad. So thank you very much, guys. Let's keep working. Thank you for your time. You gracias, everybody.
Enjoy your day, everyone.
I heard a baby.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, that's Miss Stella.
Hi, baby.
The future QHSC.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Bye, guys.
All right. Bye-bye. Good to see everybody. Bye, baby.
Unfortunately, she doesn't have the screen. She could have seen them. So what's Miss Victoria? That's nice to see you.
Yes. I was, you know what, I text.